this video we are going to see some programs related to strings. Okay. Now the first program, we will see how to reverse a given string using user-defined function. Now we will be working with negative indexes. So we are going to define a function called reverse, and it accepts a string as input. Now our interpreter will go to the main program. It will start from here. Okay, so it is expecting an input. Now assume that the input that I give is the word hello. Okay, so my aim is to reverse the string and the output should come like this: O-L-L-E-H. Okay, and that should be printed out. So let us see how our program does that. So first, this word hello will be stored into variable st1. After that, I'm calling my function reverse with the value hello stored inside st1. So now the control will go to our function, and there the parameter str1 will receive the string hello, which should be reversed inside this function. Now after that, I'm creating a new variable str2 with nothing inside it. You can see it is just two single quotes. Okay, this is not a double quote, just two single quotes without a space. So we are storing a blank string into str2. So right now you can assume there is nothing inside str2. Okay, so it is blank. Now actual reversal of string happens inside this for loop. Okay, so inside the for loop you have just one statement which actually creates a reverse string, and once the for loop is finished, I will just print the reverse string which is available in str2. Now as we are trying to reverse the string, we will be working with negative indexes. Okay, you can see here -1 minus len str -1, and the step value is -1. So let us now write the negative index for this string hello. So as discussed in the previous video, if you're working with negative index, the last character O will be available at index -1. Then the next L will be available at -2, -3, E will be available at -4, and H will be available at -5. This is the index value, okay, corresponds to the string hello, which is stored inside str1. Now let us see this range operator. Okay, so this range operator starts at -1 and it goes up till -len of str1. So now what is the length of str1? Hello has 5 characters, right? So the len is 5. So minus len is -5, and then you have -1 over here, then comma -1. So this comes to -1 comma -6 comma -1. So this is the value inside the range operator. Now why we have used this len inside here? Because based on the length of the string, our range operator has to change. Okay, so right now the length is 5. That is why we got -1, -6 and -1. Now we see what is the value that is produced by this range operator. So the first value is going to be -1 because the start value is -1, and it will go up till -5. So -5 will be the last value, and the step value is -1. So the values between this is going to be -2, -3 and -4. So here you can see this is exactly the index value that you want. You see here it goes from -1 to -5. -1 to -5 is the index value that you need to read this string in the reverse order. So now I will just replace this range with this value -1, -2, -3, -4 and -5. So now the first value -1 will be loaded into I. Control will come to the next statement, and there I will take the character of str1 with the current value of I. So you should see the value of I is -1. So we are picking the value str1 -1. Okay, so what is str1 -1? That is this character O. Okay, so now O will be concatenated. So when we are using plus with two strings, you know that this is the concatenation operation which will add two strings together. So right now str2 doesn't have anything in it, so I will just add O to it and store the result to str2 itself. So now str2 has O. So now the control will go back to 4. Now -2 will be loaded into I. This time I will be picking str1 -2. Okay, so str1 -2. So now I am picking the character at index -2. So this L will be taken. So now L will be joined with O available inside str2 now. Right, it will concatenate L and O, so that will be stored into str2. So now str2 will have O and L. So you see now it is getting reversed. Now in the third time the loop execute, -3 will be loaded into I. This time we will pick the character at -3 index location, so the next L will be taken. Now the value of str2 is O and L. Now to that we will concatenate the L which we have picked up now, so this will be added, and now the value stored in str2 will be OLL. Now this will execute 2 more times. It will take E and add it to str2, and finally it will take capital H and add it to str2. And now for loop has exhausted taking all the range values, right? So for loop will finish. The control will come to the next print statement. There I will print the reverse string is str2. So the value of str2 will be printed, and you will see this as a result. So now let us run this program. So our program is ready. So now I'll just execute it. I will enter the word hello and I'll press enter. You can see the string is reversed and it is printed out, right? So you can enter any string if you want. So I have typed Python is good and I press enter. You can see the entire sentence is reversed. The advantage of this program is that the range will adjust properly based on the length of the string. Whatever be the length of the string, your program will work properly to reverse that. So now let us continue. In the next program also we will be reversing a string using user-defined function, but there's a small difference. We will not be using a new string for doing this. Okay, so the output will be the same, but we will not be using str2 to store the reverse string and finally print it. So there is no big difference in the program. We will select one character at a time and we will just print it. That's it. This program should be easier for you, but why I am covering it, because sometimes in the question paper they can ask like do the same program without using an extra variable or without using a new string variable. So you should know how to do it. So here also we are going to enter the same input hello, and this is the negative indexes. I have just written it over here for you to understand. So now we have the function definition. You can give any name. I have given the same name reverse over here. It is expecting a string str1. Now the control will come down and here I will enter my input. You can give any input, our program will work properly, but anyway for simplicity we'll give the same input hello. It will be stored into st1. Next I call my function reverse and the value inside st1 is passed to str1. So now the value of str1 is hello and this is the negative indexes. Okay, so after that in the output you will just print the reverse string is. Okay, and followed by that we have our for loop. Now inside for loop I have only one statement. So here also the range operator works the same way. There is no difference. It will come to -1 comma length of the string is 5, so -5 -1 comma -1. So this will be -1 -6 -1. So the range will start at -1. It will stop at -5 because the stop value is -6, so it will stop at -5, and step value is -1. So these are the 5 values available inside this range. Of course I have explained the same thing in the previous program. So now -1 will be loaded into I. So I has -1, and then I'm just printing str1 at position -1. So you can see at position -1 I have O. So in the output I will just print O. So you should know I am not storing this O to another string to create a reverse string, right? As soon as I get the last character I am just printing it out, So, okay, so that is why this program doesn't use another string str2. It directly takes the character and print it. As we have to print this hello in reverse order as one single word without any spaces, I have entered my print statement with 2 single quotes. Don't confuse, this is a double quote, right? It is single quote without any space. So after printing O, the cursor will wait at next position itself. So now the control will go to for loop. Now I will get the next value from the range, which is -2. I will print str1 -2. So here you can see the next value L will be printed, and then the cursor will go to the immediate next position. I'll go back to 4 again. Now -3 will be loaded into I, and now I will print str1 -3. So now that will print the next L. The cursor will go to the next position. Again, the for loop will work. -4, I will print E, and -5, I will print H. Okay, and the program will stop. So here you should understand, we didn't actually create a string called OLLEH. We were just picking one character at a time in the reverse order from str1 and printing it on the screen. So let us run this program. So now our program is ready. I'll just execute it. Now it is asking for the string. I will enter hello, and you can see the output is printed as OLLEH. So as far as the output is concerned, there will be no difference with the previous program, but you should understand we didn't create a string OLLEH. We were just selecting one character at a time from the input and printing it to the output in the reverse order. Okay, so based on the question, you can select which program is correct for you. Now in this slide, you can see there are 2 programs, program number 3 and program number 4. This program is also written to reverse a given string using user-defined function, but this is a much easier method, and here we are using the slicing operation. So in the question, if they didn't mention that you should not use any built-in function, then you can go with this option. Okay, so this is much more easier. So when I discuss about the slicing operation in built-in function for strings, where we slice without giving any starting and ending index value, just give a -1 as step value to the last parameter, this will reverse the string. Okay, you don't have to write any for loop, just write like this, str1 will be reversed. Now in the first program, we are using a new string and then printing the result, and in the second program we are not using a new string, we are just reversing and printing it. So there is no big difference between these two. So let us see the first program. I am defining my function reverse. Okay, it expects a string str1. Now we see with this one single line we are reversing the string. You just write str1, open the square bracket, you put 2 columns, and lastly you put -1. This will reverse the entire string in str1. Now how it does that, you visit my previous video with string. I have explained it clearly over there. Okay, so now the string will be reversed. So whatever string you input here, for example if you input hello, that will be sent to your function, and here, and this slicing operator applied on str1 will just reverse it, and this will be copied into str2. After that, you just have to print the reverse string is OLLEH, that is the value of str2, and your program is terminated. Now if the question says you should not use a new string, you don't have to store the result of this slicing operation into a string str2. You can directly print it, right? You print str1 : -1. This will reverse the string and it will print it straight away. So the answer will come as OLLEH, and your program will stop. So I'll just execute this first program. The second program is trivial. You can just write it and check for yourself. It will work. Okay, so let me just run this program. Alright, so our program is ready. I'll just execute it. It is asking for the string. I will enter hello, and you can see it is reversed. Okay, you can enter any string you want, right? And you press enter. You can see the string will be reversed properly by using the slicing operation on str1. So now let us continue. Now in this program, we are going to check if a given string is palindrome or not. Okay, using user-defined function, which means our own function. So what do you mean by a palindrome? You can see there are some words like radar, for example. If you reverse this word, which means this R will come first, after that I will write this A, then you have D, after that you write this A, and after that the first R comes to the last. You can see once you reverse also, you get the same word, radar. Okay, so this kind of words are called palindrome. So now your program has to take an input, a string, and your program has to check whether that string is a palindrome. So how will you check that? You have to reverse the string and you have to check whether the original string and the reverse string are same. If they are same, you can print the string as a palindrome, and if the reverse string doesn't match with the original string, then it is not a palindrome. So now let us take the example of this radar itself. So we know that it's a palindrome, and let us run through the program. So this is the function definition, and we have created a function with name palindrome. It is expecting a string in str1 to check whether it's a palindrome or not. Now our program starts from here. We have to give the input string here to check whether it's a palindrome. So I will be entering the word radar as input because I know this is a palindrome, right? So that will be stored into st, and then I will call my function palindrome with the value radar stored inside st. So now the control will go to the function and the value of st will be moved into str1. So now str1 has value radar, and as we have to reverse a string, of course we'll be working with the negative indexes. Okay, so these are the index value for the string radar. So this program, we will be using a new string to store the reverse value and to find out whether it's a palindrome or not. So this part of the program, so the first 3 lines inside this program is the same repetition of the programs that we have studied before. Okay, we are just trying to reverse a string, that's it. Now after that I have an if-else condition, just checking whether the string 2, that is a reverse string, is equal to the original string. If it is matching, I will return 1. If it doesn't match, I will return 0. So let us visit the first 3 lines. Okay, so this is same that we have discussed before, so we don't need much of an explanation here. So first I will create a blank string str2, and this is 2 single quotes over here, so nothing is inside it. Now I will start my for loop. The range goes from -1 to the length of string -1. Okay, so the length of string here also it happens to be 5 because radar has 5 characters, so there won't be any difference. It is going to be -6 and -1, and you know now the index value is going to range from -1 to -5 according to these values. So now -1 will be loaded into I will take str1 -1, so the character available at -1 is R, right? So now R will be added to str2. Next time when the for loop runs, I will take -2 to I. This time I will take str1 -2, so that is A. Now that will be added to the existing str2 string concatenation, so I will add A after R. So once this for loop works 5 times, I will reverse the string, and that will be available inside str2. Okay, and the original string is available inside str1. Now after that I am checking whether the string inside str2 is equal to string inside str1. Now here you can see, as it is a palindrome, the content of str2 and content of str1 are same, so this will evaluate to true. So when it evaluates to true, the control will go into the if statement. I will call return with value 1. So now when you see return, the control has to come out of the function to the function call. So the control will come back here. The returned value 1 will be loaded into variable result. Now after that, I just have an if-else statement. I will check if the result is 1. I will print the string is palindrome. So in the other case, if the content of str2 and str1 was different, in that case, the if condition check will evaluate false. Now the control will go to else, and I will return 0. In that case, 0 will be stored into result. So now when I check if result equal to 1, this will be false, and then the control will come to else, and I will print the string is not a palindrome. So this is the condition check which identifies whether it's a palindrome or whether it's not a palindrome. Okay, based on the return value, I will just print whether it's a palindrome or not. So now let us run this program. So our program is ready. I will just move it down so that you can see the entire program. All right. So now I will just execute it. First, I will enter a palindrome. I will enter radar. Okay, you can enter in small letter, no problem. So you see it reverses the string. It checks whether the original string and the reverse is same. Now in this case it is same because we know it's a palindrome. So the output is coming as the string is a palindrome. So now let me run the program again. This time I will enter something else. For example, Python. Okay, we know this is not a palindrome. So the output says the string is not a palindrome because when you reverse you are going to get NOTHYP. And then we will check whether that is equal to Python, right over here. So that will evaluate to false. I will come to else, I will return 0, and if the return value is not equal to 1, then I will print it is not a palindrome. See, as we have learned a shortcut method to reverse the string using your slicing operation, right? You can do that in this case also. You will not require this for loop, so I will just remove it. Now after that, to str2, I will just reverse the content of str1 with the slicing operator by using step value as -1. Okay, so now I'll save the program. So now you see with this one single line, you can reverse the content of str1 and store it to str2. After that, you can directly check if str2 is equal to str1, return 1, it's a palindrome, or else return 0, it's not a palindrome, right? So this program will perfectly work. So if I execute it, you can see it is asking for a string. I will enter radar, I will press enter. You can see the string is a palindrome. Now if I run the program again, if I enter some garbage value, you can see when you reverse it's not going to match, so it says it's not a palindrome, right? So if in the question it's not mandatorily specified that you cannot use the slicing operator, you can always use this to reverse the string. So now let us continue. Now in this program also we are going to work on palindrome itself with user-defined function, but here we are not allowed to create a new string for storing the reversed input string. But there is one more reason for us to study this program. Okay, even though the program looks a little bit more lengthier, this program is much more faster in identifying palindrome than the previous program. Why? Because if I enter a palindrome, example radar, you can see there are 5 characters in this, right? So in the previous program, if you check, the for loop has to run 5 times. Okay, but here in this program, we will change the technique in which we verify a palindrome word, and now you can see the loop has to work only n by 2 times. For example, if the size of the word is n, for example 5, that is the size of this string, you have to work the loop only 3 times until it passes the middle. So let me first explain the logic behind this program, then we go into line by line execution. So what I do here is that I will create 2 variables. The first one is called as starting index, okay, SI, and the other variable is called ending index, EI. And initially I will point SI to the first character and I will point EI to the last character. Now I will check whether the character that is available in the first position and the last position are same. If they are different, then this can never be a palindrome, because you see this last character is going to be the first character and then it will not match, right? So it has to be the same if it is a palindrome. Now if both of these characters are same, then what I will do, I will increase the value of SI so that it points to the next character. I will decrease the value of EI so that it points to the character just before the last character. Then I will check whether they are the same. If they are same, it can still be a palindrome. If they are different, then I can stop the verification, right? Because if at these 2 positions they have different characters, then it will not be a palindrome. You can just try any string, write it in reverse order, and then you check it, It will not be a palindrome. So here also you can see the condition check evaluates to true, and after that I will increment si, it points to D. I will decrement ei. Now ei also points to D. So now there is no point in checking whether D is equal to D. It will be same for sure. So now you can stop. So that is why I told you we need only 3 checks, right? You can verify a word of 5 characters to be a palindrome or not. Okay. Now for example, if I have a word called Python, the starting index will point to the first character and the ending index will point to the last character. Then I will check the first character P is equal to the last character N. It is false, in which case I can stop the loop then and there, because it is sure that this will not be a palindrome. Why? Because when I reverse this word Python, the first character is going to be N, and whatever comes after that, N and P will not match, right? So this will now become a palindrome. Okay, so this is the logic that we are going to use inside this program. So that is why I told you, even though the program is a little bigger, this program is twice faster than the previous method that we have implemented to identify palindrome. So now let us see this. So now we have our function definition here. The name of the function is palindrome. It is expecting a string value in str1. Now the control will go to the next statement outside the function definition. Here I have to make an entry. So I will enter radar itself, because we are familiarized with this input and we know it's a palindrome for sure. So that is stored into st. Next, I am calling my function palindrome with the value radar stored inside st. So now this value will be passed into str1, and now our function will start. So now str1 is having value radar, and this is the positive indexes, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will be working with positive indexes in this program. And after that, I have something called s index. So that is the variable for starting index. I will just write s index, so that is our si. Okay, so that is our starting index, and the starting index is initialized to 0 because 0 points to the first character. Now we have the next variable ending index, which I represented as ei before, so that is ending index, and ending index value is identified by length of the string minus 1. So here length of the string is 5 minus 1 is 4, so that is actually the end index value, right? So I have 4 stored inside there. Now I have a while loop, and all these statements are inside while loop. I have an if condition check here, and return 0 is inside it. So now let us start. So first it will check whether s index value, that is 0, is less than or equal to 4. So that is true. I will get into the while loop, and the first if condition checks that str1 in s index, so that is 0, str1 0 is not equal to str1 of e index. So I am checking whether this character, that is str1 0, is not equal to str1 4, because end index is 4. But you can see they are equal. So this condition will be false, so I will not return. If you return with 0, then you will print it's not a palindrome, right? But as these two characters are same, we still have a chance. We cannot say it's not a palindrome. So I will not execute return 0. I will go to the next statement where I will increase the value of s index. So now s index will become 1. I will decrease the value of e index by 1. So e index will become 3. So now I am checking this a and this a. You can see 1 and 3, right? S index is 1 and e index is 3. So now I will come back to while loop. There I will check the s index value 1 is less than or equal to e index value 3. Now again it's true. Now I will take the character from str1 at position 1 and position 3, and I will check whether they are not equal. But here you see at position 1 I have a, and position 3 I have a, so they are equal. So again this is false. So return 0 will not execute. I will increase the value of S index to 2. I will decrease the value of E index. So again, E index also becomes true. I will come back here. Okay, so now I will check whether 2 is less than or equal to 2. So we have an equal to here, so this is still true. So I will check str2 is not equal to str2. So that is, we are checking whether D is not equal to D. That is definitely false. So return 0 will not execute. So now my S index will be increased by 1. E index is reduced by 1. So now the control will come back to while. So here you can check. Now S index is 3 and E index is 1. So now this condition check is false. Right, so this is false now. So while loop will exit. Now if the while loop exits, then the next statement is return 1, because that's a palindrome. Now I will return 1, so the control will come back to the function call. 1 will be stored into result. Okay, now I will check if result equal to 1. I will print palindrome. So now let us execute this. Our program is ready. So this is user defined function called palindrome, and this is our main function where we are calling the function palindrome over here. Okay, so now let me run it. Now it is asking for the string. I will enter a dar, and you can see the string is a palindrome. I will execute it again. Now this time if you enter any other word, you can see it says string is not a palindrome. So now let us continue. So in this program, we have to print the number of words, spaces, digits, alphabets, and special characters and length of the sentence that we input to the program. Okay, so we have to separate all these things, and we have to count how many spaces are there in the sentence, how many numbers are there in the sentence, and how many alphabets are there, how many special characters are there, how many words are there in this sentence, right? So we will take an input like this, Sunday at 9:30 a.m. So why I select it like that? Because we have characters, we have special characters like @ we have numbers 9:30 like that, right? And we know we have 4 words inside. So we will see how our program will identify all of this, right? So this is our input, and it should be provided over here in the first line itself. So Sunday at 9:30 a.m. will be stored into the variable text. Okay, so now the variable text has the string Sunday at 9:30 a.m. because I give the input like that. Now I have created many variables inside this program. The first variable is called L, then we have space, digit, alpha, special character, and number of words. Okay, so the first variable L is storing the length of the text. So here it will count how many characters are there, including the spaces, and altogether I have roughly seen how many characters are there, and I believe it is 16. So that will be stored into L. Okay, it depends on your input. Anyway, my input, I assume we have 16 characters including the spaces. So first variable L has got its value, and after that I am initializing space, digit, alpha, and spec with value 0. So initially space has value 0, digit has value 0, alpha has value 0, and spec has value 0. And after that I am running a for loop. Now inside this for loop I have this if statement, right? This much. Now inside the for loop, this control variable char will take each character from this text. So first the character S will be loaded into control variable char, and after that I will check the character that I have got is a space. Okay, so we have studied this inbuilt function eSpace, eSdigit, eSalpha, some of this in the previous video. So eSpace will return true if the character is actually a space, but right now it is S. So this built-in function will return false, and I am checking false is equal to true. So this condition will be false. Now eSdigit also will return false. eSalpha, you see the value of character is now S. Now eSalpha will check whether S is a character. Now that is true. Right, so this will return true, and true is equal to true. So this condition will evaluate to true, and now I will increase the value of variable alpha by 1. So this plus equal to is like alpha is equal to alpha plus 1. Okay, So this is a shorthand method that I have written here. So now this will increase the value of alpha by 1 because I have found out an alphabet in this string, which is S. So now alpha will become 1. Okay, again the control will go back to 4. This time the control variable char will take the second character, which is u. Now u will be loaded into char, and now it will check whether u is a space, it is false. U is a digit, it is false. Now it will check u is an alphabet, it is true. So again alphabet value will be incremented. So I have found 2 alphabets in the string. Now next n will be loaded. Alright, so in this way, assume that sunday is finished. So now the value of alphabet will become 6 because it has identified sunday as character. Now the next character that is loaded into char is space. Okay, so now space is loaded into character. Now I will check the current value of character is space. Now this will be true. In that case, I will increase the count of space variable by 1. So now I will have space value incremented to 1. Okay. Next I have @. So @ will be stored into char, and now I will check whether @ is space, it is false. Now I will check @ is digit, it is false. Now I will check @ is alpha, that is also false. So now I will come to else. Now if it is not space, if it is not a digit, if it is not an alphabet, then we will consider it as a special character like hash, dollar, @, exclamation mark, percentage. So all those kind of characters will come to else, and there you will increase the count of special characters. So now special character will increase to 1. After that you have another space, and when you run the for loop, the space will become 2. Now this will keep on executing until you finish your entire string. Okay, so once you finish your entire string, here you can see 1, 2, 3 digits are there. So digit value will be 3. There you can see 1, 2, 3 spaces are there. So space will become 3. And how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters are there. So alphabet will become 8. And how many special characters are there? I have @ and colon. So special character will be 2. So this will be the count. So next we have to identify how many words are there in this input string Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Now we will use a built-in function called as split for this operation. Split will work on the string value stored inside text, and if you don't give any parameter for split, because you see here it is blank, then split will cut the sentence or the text value with spaces. So it will cut it over here, here, and here. Okay, and the resulting 4 strings you can see Sunday, @ 9:30, and AM. These 4 strings, this is actually 4 words of this string. These 4 words will be stored into this list, word list, as separate string. So this word list will have Sunday, comma, then @, then 9:30, then AM. So these 4 words will be kept as 4 different strings inside this word list, and it is done by this split built-in function. Now how split built-in function works, I have discussed with you in the previous video where we studied string built-in functions. Now we have this list called word list, which has 4 elements in it. Now we have to count how many elements this list have. Now for that we will use the inbuilt function len with parameter word list. So len will count how many elements are there in this list. So it will count 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will be stored into the variable word. So now variable word has value 4 because our text has 4 separate words in it. And how we separate a word? By seeing the spaces. Now after that it's very simple. It's a bunch of print statement where we will print the output of each of these variables. Okay, we say the total length of the input string is 16, number of spaces in this sentence is 3, then number of words is 4, number of digits is 3, number of alphabets is 8, number of spaces is 3, and special characters is 2. Okay, so now let us run the program and see the result. Alright, our program is ready. So here you can see we have just initialized all our variables. Now this for loop will check whether we have a space, a digit, an alphabet, or a special character inside the text that I am going to input. And here I will separate the text based on the space, and then I will count how many words are there in this list. So I will get the word count, and after that I'm just printing all the variables that I have found out in this program. So now let me run it, and now I will enter the same input string Sunday at space 9:30 a.m. Okay, so now let me run it. Now here you can see the length of string is 16 including the spaces. Okay, and number of words is 4 because we split the statement based on spaces. Okay, so we have 4 pieces, so that is why we say we have 4 words. Now there are 3 digits, you can see 9, 3 and 0. We have 8 alphabets, you can count that. Now we have 3 spaces, one is here, one is here, and one is here. Okay, and we have 2 special characters, @ and colon. Now if I run the program again and I give the input as Python is great, okay, and I press enter, you can see there is total of 15 characters. There are 3 words, okay, in this statement, and there are no digits. There are 13 alphabets, 2 spaces, and there is no special characters. Okay, so our output is correct. Now in this program we will learn how to delete all occurrences of a character from a string using user-defined function. So we have to write our own function. Now we have a function called deleteChar, okay, and it is expecting 2 input. It should have a string and it should have a character which will be deleted from this string. So if I have the input, for example radar, and if I give the character to be deleted as A, then the output should have only R, D and R, because this 2A will be deleted. Okay, so that's our aim. So now let us start. So after the function definition, it will come to the next line in the main program. Now here you have to enter the string. So I will enter the string as radar. Okay, so that will be loaded into variable st. And now next it is asking enter the character to be deleted. Okay, so I will enter A because there are 2 A's and I want to delete both. So now A will be stored into ch, and after that I am calling the function deleteChar with st and ch. Okay, so now these 2 values will be passed into the function. Now str1 has value radar and char has value A. So now I'll create a blank string str2. So this is going to be our output and nothing is there inside it. Now for C in str1, so str1 is radar, so the first character R will be loaded into C. Now inside the for loop, now the first if condition check will see whether the value of C, that is R, is not equal to char. So char is A, you can see here, right? Now this is true because R is not equal to A. Then what I will do, I will add the value of C into string 2. So value of C is R. Right now we don't have anything in string 2, so I will just concatenate R to that. So now string 2 will have R. Now for loop will continue. It will take the next value A into C. Okay, so here I will check A not equal to A. So right now this is false. So when it is false, it will come out of if. So this character A will not be added to str2. This statement will not work. I will come back to 4 again. Next D will be loaded into C. Now I will check whether D not equal to A. This is true. So I will come into if statement. I will add D to str2. So right now str2 already has R. So it will concatenate R and D and it will be stored into str2. So the output will be RD. So now you see A is not coming in the output. So the next character A will be loaded. So this time this condition will be false. It will not be added to str2. And finally R will be loaded. At that time it will be true. It will be loaded into str2. So now str2 has RDR. And finally you will print the new string without A is RDR. So we have just removed both A's from radar and we have printed the result. So now let us run the program. So now our program is ready. I will just execute it. Now I will enter the string as radar, and I have to delete all A's from radar. So here you can see the output is just RDR. Okay, so now I'll run the program again. I will enter radar itself, but this time I will try to delete R. Okay, so the answer has to be just ADA. So here you can see it has deleted both R's from radar, and you got the result as ADA. So now let us continue to the last program. Now in this program we have to find the sum of digits which is embedded in a sentence. Okay, so your job is to read the sentence. So inside the sentence you will have characters, numbers, everything mixed up. You have to identify the numbers within the sentence, and then you have to add each digit inside the sentence and find the result. Okay, now for example, if I give a sentence as input here, time is 8:45 a.m. You can see in this sentence there are three numbers. We have 8, 4 and 5. So you have to add 8, 4 and 5, and the result 17 should be printed as the answer. Now the first problem that you have to solve is this entire thing is stored inside memory as a string. So you should understand this 8, 4 and 5, everything is stored as a string. Now you cannot add or multiply or divide string values, right? So inside the program you have to understand whether it's a digit. If it's a digit, you have to convert that to a number, okay? Or specifically you have to convert it to an integer value, and then only you can add it with other numbers. Okay, so we have to do that function also inside the program. So now let us start. So now let us say this is the input that you give. Okay, time is 8:45 a.m. and that is stored into str1. Now I have a variable sum and the initial value is 0. Now I am going to take one character at a time from str1, which is having value time is 8:45 a.m. Okay, and I will load that character into control variable ch. So first you can see t is loaded into ch. Now inside for loop I have two statements. Now the first if condition check will identify whether ch, the value of ch, which is t, is digit. Now right now this is false, right? Because it is not a digit, it is an alphabet. Alright, so this will return false. Now false equal to true will return false. So I will not add t into the sum because that is an alphabet. I cannot do that. Alright, so similarly when I take I, M, E space, I, S space, the same thing is going to happen. Right, is digit will always return false, and this condition check will return false. So now let us see the situation in which this 8 is loaded into ch. So now the if condition check will see whether 8 is a digit. This is true. True equal to true becomes true. Okay, so now I have to add 8 to the sum value, but you see the problem with this 8 is that this 8 is a string. It is not a number. So that is why I am using this int function to convert the value of 8 from string to an integer so that I can add it to the existing sum. So I will convert the character 8 into a number 8 using this int typecasting function. Then integer 8 is added to sum, right? So now sum has value 8. Next I have colon. So colon will not be accepted because it is not a digit. After that I will load 4. So next I will check 4 is a digit. That is true. So true equal to true. That is again true. So this entire condition will evaluate to true. Now I will convert 4 to integer, and sum already have value 8. I will add 4 to 8 and store it into sum. So 12 will be the new value of sum. After that 5 will be loaded to ch. So now I will check whether 5 is a digit. It is true. So this entire condition evaluates to true. Now the value of sum is 12. Now 5 is a string. I will convert that to integer and add it to 12. So you will get value 17 that will be stored into sum. After that I will take a and m So this condition will evaluate to false, so the addition will not happen. Now when the string is exhausted, your for loop will finish, and then you will print the sum of digits is 17. So now let us run this program. Alright, so our program is ready. I'll just execute it and I will run. Time is 8:45 now. Okay, so anyway, whatever you can enter, it is going to accept only the numbers and add it. Okay, so now when I press enter, you can see the sum of digits in this sentence is 17, because when you add 8, 4 and 5, you will get 17. Okay, so I can run it again, and time now is 22:30. Okay, so let's say we are running a 24 hours clock. So I press enter. So here you can see sum of digit is 2 plus 2, 4 plus 3, 7. So with this, we'll wind up this session. So in the next video, we'll be starting with the next chapter where we'll discuss about list.